All right, welcome back. This is part 2 of the blessings of persistence. Today we're going to talk about the persistence of prayer. Now, there's a lot of emotions maybe that come to you when you hear that persistent prayer. I kind of think of something like, I have to spend hours praying. And, sometimes, let's be honest, we struggle to even do a 5-minute prayer because either your mind is somewhere else, or you're just thinking about a problem, or you just got in a fight, or something's like made you sad. So it's very hard to just take all that emotion and try and put it in a prayer. And sometimes we get lazy and say or think, the Lord knows all things and He knows what I'm going through. I don't need to express it. But you're wrong, all right? The Lord wants you to communicate. So let's go to Matthew 7:7, and it says, "Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you." Now, it's very obvious that if you ask the Lord, He's gonna bless you. Or if you ask the Lord for something, something will happen. But you may find it kind of difficult. It's really hard to kind of ask the Lord some of the things that are really in your heart. Maybe you have a dream of working in a specific field, or you want to be a star athlete and you want to do something, and it feels crazy. It feels like something far-fetched for you to ask the Lord. That's why Matthew 7:7 was written is, you have to ask, you have to be in communication with the Lord. You can't just assume that, yes, the Lord knows what you're going through, He knows the solution, but He needs to hear from you. Just like any relationship, there needs to be communication both ways. You need to spend time in prayer, not only for you to express what you're feeling, what you need to communicate, whether it be what's on your mind, your day, maybe you have a tough decision, but you need that time to develop your ear. You need to be able to hear the Lord. You need to be able to know what's the Lord telling you to do, because you can be in a difficult situation and you may not know what the next step, but then when you spend that time in prayer, you start to learn how to hear from the Lord. To emphasize, we need to not only be in prayer, but we need to ask. We need to communicate, right? We need to communicate with God. And not only that, we need to be persistent in prayer. There's a parable that Jesus shares at Luke chapter 18, 1-8. And He talks about an unjust judge. This is a judge who's selfish. He just got there because he wanted power. He did not care about the people, and he did not care about God. It specifically says that he did not think about the Lord, or he did not even believe in a God. So you have this judge who's just all about himself, about the status of being a judge. And there's this old lady that comes to him, and she keeps demanding, do your job and let justice come down in my situation, as in let this verdict come in my favor. And it doesn't go into the specifics of what's going on, but the Bible specifically says, or Jesus specifically says, that this lady came every day consistently. She was persistent, asking the judge, turn things around in my favor, turn things around. And finally, the judge was like, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this lady coming in every day asking for this. I'm just going to give her what she wants. I'm just going to give her what she deserves, right? So she was very persistent. She didn't stop. Jesus uses that example. If this unjust judge does something good, the Lord, your God, your Father, who loves you, will also change things in your favor when you are persistent, right? If we go back to my example or my testimony when I had kidney stones, 10 years I would pray and I would ask the Lord, heal me from this, especially when I was going through it. Heal me from this. Don't let me go through another episode. It's something very painful. I don't want to go through it again. Not another year. But every year I was consistent, persistent. Yeah, it took 10 years, and if I knew that was going to happen, I don't know. I don't know what would happen, but I'm so glad He came through. And finally, in just a regular Wednesday, I got prayer in one of the back rooms over here at church, and He healed me. I haven't had a kidney stone in about 5 years, or any sign of them. And praise the Lord, He healed me. And I don't want to say it was because of my actions. I was persistent, and I believed that the Lord, I had faith that the Lord would heal me, and I was persistent in my prayer. So one of the things you need to know is that you have to ask the Lord, not only in prayer, but you need to ask for help. So let's go to Psalms 40, where it says 41, and it says, I waited patiently for the Lord to help me, and he turned to me and he heard my cry. So that means, it's very easy to think if I pray, God's going to move immediately. But there's times where you need to pray and you need to lay a foundation of prayer. You need to let the Lord know exactly what's going on, what's happening. It may take years, but it may also happen in a couple months. And you never know which one of those prayers is the one that really breaks through. So you have to be consistent. So I leave you with this. Make sure you make a time to pray. Schedule it in your busy schedule, right? Make sure you communicate with the Lord, let him know what's going on, and you build this habit. This quarantine's almost over, and this is a great time to build a habit of prayer. So I'll see you in a couple days.